I talked to Gary Quigley, who's an employee here, who told me that he was just 4 routes short of finishing his shift, but him and his dispatcher kind of made the decision that the safest option for him at that time was to return to the center. Now, this Quick View testing kit comes with a swab, solution, and a testing strip. So what you do is you put the swab in both of your nostrils, swirl it around just a few times, and then you stick it down into the solution. Witnesses told me they saw 2 cars fly down McKee, leading us right here to this house behind me, which actually has property damage of what looks like to be a bullet hole in the side of the house.
Kind of like he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He was realizing that I've already been married for years. I have 2 kids with this woman, but I also have this whole other life. He knew that in 2 days, all of that was going to collide.
Staffing issues have impacted nearly every sector across the nation this year. And this winter isn't going to be any different. This is a fake gun, but if you're a parent and have a real gun, it's important to make sure that it's safely stored inside of a locked container in your home. I'm here at the corner of 7th and Cherry, and as you can see here behind me, there's a large light pole that is in the middle of this intersection. And Hannah, officials tell you the ongoing supply chain issue shouldn't push back the project. Concrete walls are lifted into place, and then a roof is put on top to stabilize the building. Imported goods like these mangoes, dragon fruit, and even blueberries have been hard to come by here at Clover's.
How soon we could see some of this money go into those cities.
Deb, as far as I know, there wasn't really a mention of a timeline, but he definitely said this will be the next decade. I'm here with freshman student Roy Scott, who has been here protesting. Roy, tell me what it's been like tonight, and tell me why you guys are out here.
We're out here for a cause that should be taken care of immediately.
The broadband issue, I feel like, has been pretty ongoing the past few months. What's your take on it, and what is this bill really going to do?
It has, and here.
ABC 17's Layla Mitchell is live in downtown Columbia after speaking with several businesses. And Layla, not everyone in that area is being affected in the same way. As students head back to school after winter break, the lack of mask mandates in Columbia Public Schools is raising new concerns. ABC 17 News has team coverage of the damage left behind in Kentucky, Arkansas, Illinois, and right here in Missouri. But first, rescue efforts are still underway at a site of an Amazon fulfillment center. It will be the first live game action this team has seen since Super Bowl 55 in Tampa. So lots to look forward to tonight. ABC 17's Natalie Jones is here with us now. Natalie, kickoff is finally here. Hard hits happen on the football field every day. And even with years of advancing safety for helmets, concussion numbers continue to increase each season. According to the Missouri State High School Activities Association, 33.5% of all football injuries were a concussion during the 2020-2021 season. Doctors today want to minimize sports head injuries, but at the same time, football fans don't want the game to change.
There's definitely a way that you can do both, and if we are not able to, the game that we all love to watch and cheer on is going to go away.
MU Healthcare launched a center at the end of September with goals to treat patients with head injuries. This is not only to evaluate them, but also to find out how to mitigate their symptoms and prevent long-term consequences.
This clinic is going to allow for follow-ups and supervision as a person does return back to play.
When someone takes a hard hit to the head, the brain bangs against the skull, which bruises the brain and causes a concussion. Football teams across the area say their head injury protocols start even before the season.
Ask a kid a whole bunch of questions, see where they're at, and then once the season goes on, if a kid gets any type of questionable head trauma, they're able to go back and look at these questions, ask the same ones, and then compare to see how a kid did.
Rule changes have also given a consequence. A helmet-to-helmet hit can lead to an ejection.
It kind of resonates with people. It means a lot more when you're not able to go out there and toot up.
Ted LePage, a former Mizzou football player and current head coach at Blair Oaks, says the sport has changed a lot since his playing days.
Everything stayed inside, so the hits weren't as big and as dramatic.
LePage said one major safety change has came with crackback blocks on special teams.
They called the wall return, and you would catch guys blindsided.
Coaches say it all starts in what you teach at practice.
You see somebody take a cheap shot or use their head at practice, we eject them from practice.
We take the head out of it. We teach to go low, to go at the legs.
LePage saw a head injury firsthand a few weeks ago in the state playoffs. His star quarterback, Dylan Hare, had to leave the game after this hit. LePage says the protocols began immediately.
You feel your fingers, your toes, and he said, no, they're numb. That's when laid him back down and went into extra precautionary situations.
Once a player is diagnosed with a concussion, it takes several steps to get them back on the field.
No matter what happens, there's a 7-day protocol.
After the 7th day, whoever is doing the protocol, either the athletic director or the trainer, they have to sign off that they cleared all of that. And then you start to work them back in the progression of practice.
For a full list of concussion signs and symptoms, you can visit our website at abc17news.com. Reporting in Columbia, Chanel Porter, ABC 17 News. Deb Allison was a second-grade teacher here at Bush Elementary School for 5 years before her and her daughter Josie were killed in their home Sunday night in Columbia.
She was a fantastic teacher. She loved her job. She loved her kiddos. An amazing mother, very actively involved in her daughter's life. There wasn't a person in the building that didn't have respect for Allison.
Steelman was a co-worker of Allison Abbott's and also knew her daughter, Josie. She said the news of both of their deaths came as a shock. The mother and daughter were killed in their home on Lavender Drive in Columbia Sunday night. The Boone County Sheriff's Office responded to the home late Sunday after getting a call from a concerned family member. Neighbors in the area tell me the two moved into this home in May. The Fulton School District said it has brought in counselors for students and staff today. Plus, they are starting classes on Wednesday and will have help available then. An expert of child psychology at Mizzou said it's important to be straightforward with kids in these horrific situations.
The reality is that kids know what's happening and they can kind of sense when things are feeling a little uncertain or feeling a little stressful. They pick up on that energy. And so really kind of glossing over it might actually increase some of their anxiety.
Steelman said so many people in the school districts will be impacted by the losses.
She was actively involved in doing what she could to close the gaps. She was really good at building relationships with her kiddos and also with each of her coworkers.
Hollander said it's important for the adults involved to also take their time to grieve.
The teachers and the staff are really focused on the kids right now, and they might forget that this is their grief too, losing a coworker and a friend. And so, having space to say her name, to remember her, to celebrate her life.
And Deb, neighbors in the area earlier today continued to tell me how wonderful the Abbott's family was since they moved into their home in May, and they're hoping that more information is discovered on who did this horrific act. Reporting live in Fulton, Chanel Porter, ABC 17 News.